Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Welcome to Miss Butt's Maths Flipped Classroom. This week we're going to be learning about rounding decimals. Now, all week we've been learning about decimals and what they represent. So we know that one whole is 1, and we have a decimal point, and then we have a tenths, and then we have a hundredths. Okay, a tenths represents 1 over 10, and a hundredths represents 1 over 100, and so on. So what I'd like you to do is try and work out the decimal answer to the question that we have there. So we have how many ones, how many tenths, and how many hundredths. Once you've done that, I want you to try and work out the nearest whole number to the number that you've got. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds, or pause the video if you need to. Well done. Let's see what answer you've got. So we have 4 ones, we have 5 tenths, and how many hundredths? Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the number we have is 1.46. So what number do you think, if I'm rounding to the nearest whole number, it would come to? Let's see if you were right. The answer was 5. So if you got that right, well done. You have a house point. Now, true or false? 4.36, when rounded to the nearest tenth, is 4.4. Do you think this is correct? Let's see if you have a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you need to work this out, I'll give you a couple seconds or pause the video. You're right, it's absolutely true. So 4.36 when rounded to the nearest tenth is 4.4. Why? Because 4.36, if we have a look at these 4 wholes, we have 3 tenths. We've got to look at his neighbour, and his neighbour is a hundredths. Now, if it's 4 and above, it goes up. So if we're rounding it up, the answer would be 4.4. And if you look on the number line too, it's very close to 4.4 than it is to 4.3. Now, I want you to do this one on your own. Round 5.5 to the nearest tenth. I'm going to give you a little hint. Remember, we look at the tenths and then we look at the hundredths. If the hundredths are 4 and above, it goes up. So let's see if we can do this. I'm going to give you a moment. So 5.6, you're right, well done, because if you look at the 5.55, we look at the hundredths and it goes up because it's 4 and above. And 5.5 to the nearest whole number is 6. It's bang in the middle and it's closer to 6 because remember, we have 4.55, number next to it, it would be 6. Now I think you'll be an absolute expert in these. I want you to round these decimals to the nearest tenth and match them to the correct answer. I want you to write down all these numbers and match them. I'm going to give you a moment. I want you to pause it and see if you can match to the nearest tenth.
Je joue au tennis parce que j'adore le tennis.
Did you get that right? So 3.09. Remember, we look at the number and we look at the whole number, then we look at the tenth, and then we look at the hundredths. So in 3.09, we look at the tenths, it's no tenths, and it's 9 hundredths. So if it's 4 and above, it goes up. So it would be 3.1. So if you got that right, give yourselves a tick. 3.49 is closer to 3.5. That was an easy one. And 3.94, the closest number, if we have 4 and above, it stays the same or it goes above. So it'll be 3.9. So if you got that right, well done. Now, this is your task for today. I want you to move through the maze by circling numbers where the tenth is rounded by the sevenths. I want you to try and work this out and come into school on Monday or one day next week and show me your answer. And if you do so, I will give you 5 house points. I hope to see you next week. Goodbye.